Thrifting has always held a special place in my heart. I love hunting for a well-loved piece and giving it a new purpose. Sometimes I create a new look by embellishing the find or pulling out a pair of scissors and simplifying it. In a way, the Wikipedia assignment had a similar rhythm as making a trip to my local Goodwill. I was on the lookout for an article that I could add or subtract to, just like when I'm digging through used items. The content I created needed to subscribe to Wikipedia's guidelines, adding its own difficulties when sources became scarce. In the process, I would uncover the website's practicality and often overlooked trustworthiness. It quickly became apparent that this assignment came with an extra challenge that thrifting could not bear witness to. Most of the articles on Wikipedia that I read were highly detailed, and I was learning far more than I was correcting. It seemed as if every topic I had considered had already been completely developed by several experts. My inexperience in the world was revealed in this assignment's requirements. Roller skating, backpacking, the Spanish language, even the teen romance novel Twilight featured extensive analysis that far outweighed my own understanding. I finally had a lucky break when I searched for my home church on Wikipedia. I chose the article, First Presbyterian Church, Colorado Springs, Colorado, because it was a topic that I am well versed in. I've attended the church for 10 years actively, and I am aware of the latest changes. It felt as though my contribution would be worthwhile and helpful to those looking up First Pres. Stumbling upon that article, I felt the excitement of a new challenge, similar to the feeling that arises with every thrifted find I collect. Once I'd landed on my second-hand article, it was not challenging for me to come up with the actual content due to my long history at First Presbyterian Church. I quickly noticed that the Wikipedia site still listed Jim DeJarnette as the minister of music and worship, even though he retired several months ago. It was a simple adjustment, using the church's website as a reference. In my contribution, I chose to recognize Jim DeJarnette's extended work at First Pres, including his management of several musical groups within the church's community. It was a well-thought-out addition with the ability to stand the test of time. When I decide to expand my wardrobe, I don't just grab piles of clothes lying discarded on the street. Instead, I drive to a reliable thrift store that I know has a good collection of items. In the same way, Wikipedia requires that all information added to their website is supported by trusted sources. A second reference it was a bit of a task to locate a reliable source besides the church website. A second reference would display a perspective outside of First Pres itself. I settled on a Presbyterian website that shares theological ground with First Pres, giving it credibility. It was a job listing for the position of organist. The document compiled some of the impressive features of the musical program that Jim DeJarnette was responsible for during the 40 years he spent at the church. With my 2 sources that met the guidelines and my 65-word edit, I had exceeded the assignment requirements, making me an official contributor to Wikipedia. After seeing both sides of the coin, I believe that the standard Wikipedia upholds within the guidelines is fair to both the editors and the viewers of the articles. The quality of Wikipedia articles is far higher than I expected due to the strict publishing rules. I continuously hear teachers harp on the inaccuracy of the website. However, I found it to be shockingly accurate and thorough. The amount of time it took to locate an article in need of improvement supports this concept. My final product that I chose to add to the article was a total of 774 characters, including the references. It has been around 1 week since I published my submission, and it has remained on the website, surprisingly. Under the History tab on the articles page, I can see it has had very little activity. The last time any change occurred at all was in June of 2020, and only for a minor grammar fix. This makes it seem probable that my contribution will remain on the website. After this assignment, my perspective on Wikipedia has completely changed. The extensive guidelines and the reliable, well-checked sources create a solid foundation for the organization. Although every article might not represent a well-rounded approach to the topic, the chances of encountering safe information are high. I am now more inclined to trust Wikipedia than when I'm trying to satisfy my own curiosity. Additionally, my experience as an avid thrifter had unknowingly offered guidance with my homework. Thank you.